welcome to month 6 of my 1 year in Minecraft Inquisitors Rising series. Oh man, I hope you are enjoying this series as much as I'm enjoying doing it. We're going to jump straight into the action because there are finally some big changes coming to our little world over here. Day 151, a new start. You know, the number one thing I love about this series, apart from the joy of editing, and I'm not being facetious, I actually really do enjoy the editing process here. Every single month feels like a special, fresh start. It's so great. It's just wonderful. I'm starting in the Nether today, obviously, trying to connect the Inquisitor Kingdom to the rest of the world. I still hate my Nether, to be totally honest. I find it blah and uninteresting in general. Eventually, I think I'm going to do a hard reset of the Nether and make it much better. But for right now, I'm happy with my ice roads, and it's just going to be nice to have access to my mining desert, my mesa, all that kind of stuff for building. Let's get into the goals for month 6. All right, number 1, I want to actually lay out the roads for the city. I know, I said that every month for like 3 months in a row, but for real this time, I mean it. Goal number 2, build 1 gold tier Patreon build. Probably a church, but we'll see where the month takes us. And goal number 3, and this is probably the big one and maybe the hardest one, I want to get a beacon. I figure once I get 1 beacon set up, then I can kind of have access to the other beacons I have in this world because I will have, earned it eventually. You know what I mean. While I continue to work on the roads in the Nether here on day 2 of the month, let me talk about beacon. I have a large size quarry back in the old world. I have not been using it due to wanting to do a fresh start and all that, but once I get 1 beacon here in the Inquisitor Kingdom, I don't see any reason not to dig in the quarry where I need stone. Now, yes, granted, I have 4 beacons there already, so it's going to be a little easier and all that stuff, but really, truly, come on, once I get 1, I've done the grind, I've done the bit. We all see it. Hey, if you want, you can just go back to episode 120 or something of the last season and watch me get the beacon. So, yeah, it's not that exciting. I returned home from my successful and safe Nether journey, and I dropped off a full inventory and took a few minutes to check the amount of iron I have for a beacon. It's not great, actually, but it's not quite there yet. I'm going to have to do some serious iron mining later on this month. Hey, that makes for a fun video, right? But I want to get the beacon right away, so I'm going to head back to the Nether and grind wither skulls tomorrow. Should be good. You know, as lucky as I was in this seed for getting a end portal really close, right under the main city, I have been that unlucky to get a Nether fortress. It is very, very far. Fortunately, I have the connected Nether pathways now and ice and all that stuff, so it only takes a little bit, but seriously, would you look at this journey? I'm not kidding. This is the real deal. Well, it had to happen at some point, and unfortunately, it's happened off camera. I record most of the days here, but I was in the Nether grinding wither skeleton skulls for so long that I didn't want the file size to get too big. So yeah, I stopped recording, and sure enough, well, you can see I died. I was killed by a freaking hoglin. It just cornered me, and it was just on me too fast. I couldn't do anything about it. So unfortunately, I lost the footage, but I died. It was my first death in this entire series. 155 days, and I died. Luckily, I'm not playing hardcore. Look, this is why I don't play hardcore. Imagine if I made it to this point in the series, and I died to a hoglin. That's it. End of the world, right? Delete the whole thing? No, I don't think so. Not my vibe. I'm a builder and I want to build more things. So unfortunately I died, but we'll go recover my stuff and continue on. Well, a total strikeout. I spent another entire day hunting wither skulls and I got 0. I have decided that I cannot do this without looting 3 on my sword, so I'm heading back. I'm going to go grind some levels and try to enchant my sword. After a lot of time at the EXP farm, I did get up to level 36 and enchanted my sword 3 times. Unlucky, and then finally on my last try, pretty darn lucky. I got looting 2. Okay, not looting 3 would have been nice, but it's good enough to head back and do some more wither skull hunting. This is pretty unbelievable. I returned and I killed about 100 of these guys to get the first 2 skulls, and then I just couldn't get the third until this one, where finally it dropped there on the ground. Yeah, it was, I mean, really, truly, this took a really long time. I'm going to call it like 1 day because I don't want to spend the entire month here, but it was certainly more than that many days. But, in the Nether you can't count days, so I'm just guessing. Thanks, Bedrock, for no F3 screen. That's cool. I returned home, went straight to the end, and it's time to fight the Wither. Look, I'm a wuss. Okay, no lie, fine. It's fine, whatever. I'm getting a beacon. I'm just gonna Well, I'm just going to cheese the fight. I'm just going to suffocate him in bedrock. Hey, it still counts. I fought him before, and that counted too. So you know what? It's fine. Just look the other way if you don't like this technique. But look, it's going to be great. I need a lot more iron to actually make my beacon, so it's mining time. I returned with a lot of stuff and good stuff, but only 25 iron. I feel like this month is really getting away from me. We're 10 days in already. So I'm going to go mine again, and while I'm doing that, why don't you all go here and watch a lore segment. I'll see you on the other side. Okay, first, how do you know who I am?
We've been preparing for this day for centuries, Captain.
So, it's true then, what the book says. You are from the sheriff?
I personally am a great descendant of Chef Stewart, but yes, we're all descendants of your old crew.
So, everyone I know from my old ship, they died thousands of years ago?
Well, not precisely, Captain. The crew landed here, spread out over the course of thousands of years, but the bridge crew had access to a special kind of machine.
Yes, the experimental deep sleep pods.
That technology has been lost to us for a very long time, but yes, the command crew managed to live much longer than the span of a normal human life.
Is there any chance any of them, the command crew, still live?
Most decided to live out their lives here at some point, but one pod remains active. She's been in and out of deep sleep for years trying to record all the events of our lives here on Tovalyn. In fact, she founded the Council of Events many thousands of years ago.
She? You mean...
Yes, Captain Ramirez still lives.
I took a small mining break to enchant a new helm. Mine actually broke, but unfortunately, I got 3 fairly crappy enchants. Once I get more levels, I will re-enchant them and try for better. But back to the mines for now. Hey, you know what? Let's do some building here 12 days into the month. Why not? I finally started laying out the roads to the city. I know, I've been claiming this is coming for about 100 days, but here we are. I'm cooking up my iron because I think I actually have enough. Now I just need to wait for it to finish, and then I'm going to have a beacon and time to lay out some roads. I spent a couple days laying out the roads, and now I think it's a good time to jump into a cinematic mode so we can really check out the general shape and stuff. My main plan is going to be to have a city square, or more likely a circle, and then have all the main roads go out from there. It's a little hard to see here, but to the left of your screen is north, so that's going to be the mob tower. Straight ahead is going to be the castle, and I think down is maybe going to be the church or cathedral that I'm going to do next. I don't know sure if it's going to happen this month or not. I spent the entire day landscaping the actual city. This is going to be great. I won't go flat. Look, I feel like I've talked about this like probably 1,000 times, but here we go again. My basic landscaping rule is either do rolling hills or steep cliffs. No in between. No flat and no 3 to 4 to 5 block high grass cliffs. They look kind of dumb. Sorry. So it's easier to manually landscape this all now and then build later rather than do it after. So I'm going to spend some time landscaping now, and that's going to save me a lot of time later, but could be a boring couple days. Oh, baby. It's beacon time. Now, I got to tell you, it's been fun to have the beacon and all that stuff, but Deep Slate does sort of inconvenience your beacon mining. I've already found that on Imperial. So yeah, it's great, but also the deep state really slows you down. It's going to be really great higher level than diamond level for just massive stone and cobble, but yeah, it's great, but for an asterisk. So I'm going to put down the beacon right in the middle of my mines and hopefully have lots and lots of space where I can just gather a ton of materials. And more landscaping on day 166. I'm a little conflicted, to be totally honest. You know, part of me knows this is what needs to happen to build a really good city, but on the other hand, there is this YouTuber part of me that thinks, yikes, this content. Look, I'm telling you now, during editing, I spent the next 3 days landscaping. So while I show you just little bits and montages of that, I gotta tell you what we did this weekend. I've talked before on the channel a little bit about how we had a couple medical things come up in my family over the last year, and so thus we've used basically all of our vacation days. And when I say our, I mean my wife's vacation days. I don't get any. I'm a musician. We don't get vacation days at all. So we decided to take our one-day vacation to Seven Springs, which is this awesome little ski resort near Pittsburgh. And, you know, in the summer, a ski resort is just kind of a big hill, kind of. It's not really a mountain. It's kind of a big hill, and you can do things like, they call it the Alpine Slide. And it's kind of like a luge that you get on this little concrete thing. And my kids love it so much. Like, they love it. They love riding in the chairlift. They love, like, eating pizza on the balcony, the whole bit. Like, we've done it now a couple times, and my son Harrison is very into sort of doing the same thing over and over. That's kind of something that is comforting to him. So, you know, it's okay for us. We don't mind sort of reenacting the same vacation, if you will, a couple times over and over. It's great. We all have a fun time and everything. But I got to tell you, the thing that they love probably more than anything is they played air hockey for the first time in the little resort game room. And the intensity that these children played air hockey back and forth, especially Lincoln, my 3-year-old, it was like watching the Ultimate Warrior in WWF wrestle. Like, I can't do it, unfortunately, without a face cam right now, but imagine the absolute most completely intense, insane screaming at every single hit of the puck the entire time we played. Probably 10-minute games, because neither of them could score. So, like, the games lasted for the entire timer, basically, before the air just shuts off. It was just the greatest thing. As a dad, as a parent, watching his absolute total joy in this air hockey game that he's never experienced before was just something I'll never forget in my entire life. After leaving the Wandering Trader camp, I traveled very far. Thanks to Commander Kott's brilliant contact invention, I could talk to him and he could sort of text me back without any chance of Inquisitor sensors, if indeed they do have that advanced technology picking us up. The Wandering Traders explain so much of their history. They were started by Captain Ramirez's second officer, Commander Merrick, and tasked with keeping our ways alive. He saw the Inquisitor power rising as they squashed all technology from the crashed pods. Remember, we were space soldiers, but really most of us were scientists and explorers at heart. When crashing here, the sheriff's crew's first inclination wasn't to begin a medieval kingdom with castles and knights and armor. It was, of course, to live and create a modern life as much as they could. But each pod group that landed here was met with Inquisitors who gave them the chance to live under their medieval leadership or be taken away. While Captain Ramirez started the Council of Events in order to preserve the history of Tovalyn, Commander Merrick began the Wandering Traders. An amazing group, living here in this place in this time, but quietly behind closed doors maintaining our story. They are among the only people here who truly remember who they are. They wander around the planet, always watching for new escape pods from the sheriff so they can whisk away the survivors before the Inquisitors arrive. But now, everything has changed. Tovalyn has caught up to history. We're in the year 3 since the Singularity, and there will be no more escape pods. This is all there is. I need to find Captain Ramirez. Hey, you know what? I actually made progress. In day 171, I actually laid out and dug the width of the first road. My goodness. Okay, look, obviously the church goal isn't going to happen this month, but next month I will be able to truly start building. This isn't bad. This is a good start. Everyone relax. We'll get there. Fortune's terrible on shovels, right? Well, not necessarily in Bedrock, because we need it for gold farms to click the portals on and off. So, fortunately, I have a Fortune 3 shovel, so yeah, I just piled up a couple stacks of gravel, took a look around while I was up this high, and then dug it all out and got myself 2 stacks of flint, because my portals are unfortunately out of flint and steel, so I want to have a bunch just sitting around. Also, luckily, I have a lot of iron from sort of overdoing the mining bit whenever I was mining up for my beacon, so I should be good for quite a while on my experience farm. I just need to add more portals eventually, but we'll do that down the road. Alright then, more work on the roads today. I'm starting to get really psyched. I can start to feel the city is actually starting. My basic plan is going to be a circle in the very middle of the road, again, with city roads going out on all sides. I think I'm going to go with the circle. I had thought before about doing a square, so there's really a literal town square, but there's something about a circle in the middle of the city that just kind of makes me happy. I still have some trees sitting around that I need to get rid of in order to further landscape for the actual city. So I spent the entire day cutting down trees. Yeah, look, it's a grind. I know, it's a grind, but no doubt we're going to get there. We are. Trust me. Some of this terrain is it's just so bad. Minecraft Plains terrain is so terrible. I'm really hoping 1.18 brings some real changes to that terrain. I know basically the entire world gen is getting fixed, so man, I hope they fix sort of this. All these little dumb water pools are pretty terrible. The weird jumps up in elevation are kind of terrible, and yeah, there's something to be said with doing it yourself, but it'd be really nice if it was at least closer to natural. Well, I made a decision. While I was recording the game footage, I decided, look, I only have 3 days left. Let's just spend the last 3 days all on landscaping and just get really nice looking rolling hills, right? I think it's going to be worth the time spent. So, for the last 3 days, let's get to the question or comment of the day. Well, since I have basically 2 days to show you here, I thought I would do 2 question or comments of the day. The first one is Mosh U says, I love this series so much. You managed to make even the most boring tasks super interesting, and you talking about your wife at the end there warmed my heart despite me normally hating stuff like that. You are truly amazing. Keep up the amazing work. I hope you're safe with the whole thing. I left out the key word. We all know what it is. You just can't say it on YouTube or you get buried. And the other comment is, we're getting to the halfway point. Let's hope for year 2 when year 1 is finished. So firstly, let me say to Mosh, thank you so kindly. I really, really appreciate that. You know, I did not talk too much about my personal family life and private life sort of for a long time in videos. And then it kind of got to the point where I decided, what am I keeping from everybody? You know, my life is a huge part of my sort of personality and who I've become as a man, as my family, and I think not talking about them or being sort of private about that stuff is just not genuine, because I am the kind of person, if you meet me in real life, it's only about 10 minutes before I start talking about my kids or my wife or my friends or whatever. That's just me. I wear them on my heart and on my sleeve all the time out front. So I think talking about my family and stuff like that is just way more natural to me than not talking about them. Some people aren't, and that's cool. Some people are very private about that stuff, but that's just not me. So I find that when I was trying to sort of keep that out of videos, I don't think it felt as genuine as what I would like it to be, especially for like a Let's Play format where it's you and me hanging out. We're just talking, and I'm going to talk about the things that are important to me, and that's the most important thing to me. The other question coming from the Gaming Skull is, I hope there'd be a year 2. Yeah, that's my plan. My plan is, as of now, to keep this format going. I really enjoy this format. I like the editing process of this format. I kind of wish more people would click on the videos, to be totally honest, if I had to say anything. But, you know, I want to do the 300 Days Mage, and I want to do the Apocalypse City and things like that. But the Inquisitors and the sort of the people behind the backside of the story are going to be forefront in those stories. And so there's a lot of people who are going to come in for this and like, wait a second, what's all this Inquisitor stuff? We don't know that because maybe they're not clicking on these videos. So, you know, these little lore segments that are pretty painstaking to record and edit, to be totally honest, are hugely important for what's coming next. So, you know, I get comments constantly saying, hey, return to the 100 days format. Well, first, I am doing the literal 100 days format just in 30-day snippets instead of 100. So no big deal there. But secondly, what they really mean probably is do the modded mage thing, or do and I'm going to, but to tell that story, I have to tell the Inquisitor story first, because otherwise it won't make sense. So, you know, yeah, there's going to be a year 2. Year 2 very potentially could be building out the Guardian farm. I'd kind of like to spend a whole year on the Guardian farm. I think we could totally, and really just spend 12 episodes just completely crushing that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. We're going to see. We'll vote on it. It could be the Lush Cave year, where we spend a whole year building up Lush Caves and living underground, all that kind of stuff. Or it could just be bouncing around and doing different things. You know, we'll do some sort of vote and some sort of poll whenever it comes time to make a decision. But yes, short answer is yes, there's a lot more 1 year of Minecraft coming after the first 12 episodes. Well, we did it, believe it or not. We are halfway through a year. At the end of 6 months, I feel good about this. Is it as far along as I thought we might be? No, probably not. But that doesn't mean that I like it any less. check this out. We have a giant mob tower. This thing is going to be such an amazing, huge tower. Then you up there, you got the city. You have the farm area over there. We're going to start the church next episode, next month. And I am super psyched about it. I hope you're enjoying the series very much. I skipped into an old backup and took a screenshot here of where the roads used to be and where they are now, just so you can get an idea of how much sort of terraforming I did in this month. It's a lot. It may not look like a lot, but yeah, it's a lot. I mean, that's a huge difference. And you can just see the hills are more gradual. The road right where those two meet is going to be where the city square is. And yeah, this is going to be such a cool place. Before we wrap this one up, I want to say a special thank you to my patrons and YouTube members. Again, like I say, every video, I could not possibly justify the amount of time that I spend on this YouTube channel if it were not for you. So thank you so much for all that you do for me. But this episode, we also have a special guest voice who I gotta say was just absolutely crushing it. Somebody to remember, an old friend from my very first YouTuber SMP days. I wrote to him and asked, hey, would you mind doing this little voice? I think you'd sound really good as his character named Max. He's a wandering trader. And he was like, yes, I would love to do it. You send it over. He sent it back almost immediately. Somebody to Remember is a great YouTuber, an old friend from my very first YouTuber SMP days. He now runs the Intrinsic SMP, which is awesome. You should check it out. Horsecrass, who's a friend of the channel, as well as Hayes Ori, now also play there. So please go check that out, and I think you'll really enjoy it. That's going to do it for me today. I will see you all next time. Thanks so much for spending part of your day with me. As always, be kind to each other, and we'll see you next time.